Any minute now.
It's just circling. It's waiting to go.
Any moment now.
What's going on?
Oh, how goes it there, bud? Welcome to the Thursday JuvEssentials here with your resident newfie here, Canadian dash for the day for the opening here, and we're joined by the Torontonian Dave over there. Before you get your nuts in a twist, we got ourselves a German Dave back. Unfortunately, he is back from Turkey, maybe with one less leg, but how you doing there, bud?
I'm good, man. Usually people, if they go to Turkey, they add things, teeth implants, hair
Boobs,
implants,
ass,
butt cheeks, boobs, asses,
all
Turkish
of
butt
it.
lifts.
And you came
Yeah.
out with one less knee.
Yep. And I lost a knee.
Sounds like he took a trip to the Balkans.
Oh, God damn, man.
There's like that whole strip of land. You know what? You said it was a Roman ruin.
Yeah, it was
They're still taking
southern Turkey, Antalya.
2,000 years later, and they're still taking your people out.
Yeah, dude, they're still doing it, man.
Motherfuckers.
Oh
No,
man!
there was a Hadria, like of Emperor Hadrian. He had I don't,
Yep.
yeah. Like there was a gate like close to, I don't know if you guys know the Brandenburger Tor in Berlin, like the one that was built because like as a sign of freedom and blah blah blah, and it was like a similar structure or similar to the Arc de Triomphe, for example, in Paris, like something like those. And yeah, and there were stairs heading downwards basically, and there was one step that was completely smooth, like no grip at all. And yeah, I slipped. My foot basically landed under my leg, like landed under my whole body weight, and it just made a sound.
And you're fresh from the doctor. You get your results tomorrow. So you guys are just gonna have to stay tuned this weekend. And
It's gonna be a fun aftermath.
I don't know if it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, not at your expense.
No, the weird hotel doctor that monitored everything. without having actual equipment because he's a hotel doctor. And in Turkey, I guess his certificate is even like not real. But yeah,
Certificate
he's-
says hotel doctor.
Hey, my friend, I take care of you very good. Come here, I take it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, knee go boom. Oh, it's not good. We need new leg.
No, no, but let's see. Like his fear was a torn ACL. My doctor feared the same thing today. He couldn't tell like with the touches, but with how my knee like doesn't move at all. Like I can walk very slow, but it hurts a shit ton. We gotta see, man. Gotta see.
Damn,
Oh,
and
the
it
best.
sucks because like I just started running. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just saying. So Dash
Hey,
just
guess
started
what?
running. I just started.
And I stopped. I stopped running.
Yeah, I'm like recovering from my back injury. I'm like doing overhead weights now, doing all that kind of stuff. And Dave just shows up fucking broken.
Man, I was like super ecstatic too because like physical therapy gave me the yeah, I think you could run on this Achilles now, and I'm like, controlled running, anti-gravity running, Dash, not on an actual grass field. Relax.
Yeah. Hey,
But
I
no.
walked so Dash could run, and Dash ran so I couldn't walk.
Yeah, where's your Eagles jersey? Eddie wants to know.
I haven't. I didn't buy one yet.
Mail one out.
In Detroit.
Yeah. We're visiting Detroit. We got to visit Detroit now, guys.
Yeah, you guys didn't have to
Special
visit
plus.
Detroit.
Ah,
Sucks. Compared to all the Juve content creators, we've got a Detroitonian on a channel.
All,
OG.
hey, all of that
Detroit.
just to get Jeep back on the jersey again with a year less of money. So, thank you
Oh,
for that,
it's not-
Juventus management.
Well, you know,
It's
the funny thing is I actually know the advertiser in Detroit. So as I have been physically cleared to start driving and doing stuff, I was with them before it actually got announced on Juve's Instagram. I was in the office there, and they were talking about like this sports team, and I'm just kind of sitting there in the corner going, "Dee, dee, 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 dee," like
They don't
like,
even
I
know who the
already
sports
know.
team is.
They're like, yeah, Juventus. And I'm like, hold on, come again? Yeah, Juventus. And I'm like, oh, please don't say that on video.
Did you say you're racist?
Hey, please don't say that. Please don't say that. And they're like,
We're gonna get like the free Palestine stuff going on, and we don't want that. It started going in the wrong direction last stream. We won't do that.
and they're like,
What
wait.
did I miss?
Oh, you missed it.
Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I have to catch up. I have so many episodes on watch later, man. I
Don't
didn't
watch,
catch up on.
watch along. Bother.
Oh no, I still always watch the watch alongs and all the shows and everything that I'm not on. But yeah,
Why?
need the time.
Don't do the weekend one to yourself. Just why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, why would you?
I didn't even want to do it to myself. I was the only one there. I had to do it.
Was it that bad? God damn.
the game.
Dude,
No,
it was
no,
Davide fucking
the-
Massa. Of course, it was that bad. All I
I
did
mean,
was
if
yell
you're
for
there
fucking
to
2 hours.
if you're there to watch Canadian Dave just slam shit and get mad, perfectly entertaining.
Yeah, that's all.
No,
it was.
I know he hates Davide Massa. I meant because of the comments. I thought like
Yeah,
that was.
Davide fucking Massa.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Sunday.
But-
That was the Sunday night one. Yeah, don't worry.
But you
Okay,
know,
okay,
anyways, we did pander on for like 7 minutes now. But everybody, obviously like and subscribe if you're new. Subscribe. We've got a little bit of an action-packed show, I would say, even though it's just again more stupid rumors. I prefer this as we make fun of Giuntoli's show, but we can do that. I think the one thing I kind of want to open and have you guys react to or feel about is Italiano effectively shitting on Thiago Motta's legacy in one season.
You mean the guy that I made the video should be our next coach?
Yeah, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna be Milan's
I was
next
early on
coach.
that train, so
So are we on an early Glaze train? Hold on.
No,
Is it?
no, don't.
By the way,
we're not there.
by
We're
the
not
way-
there. We're not there.
Yeah.
by the way, do you remember? I'm not going to dwell on it a lot, but do you remember the chat when I said that? When people said, "Oh, Italiano hasn't proven anything, though. Oh, he coached Fiorentina. He never won anything." And I was arguing, "Yo, but he led them like to actual like into knockout stages of cup competitions, whether that was the Coppa
Consistently.
Italia or Conference League or Europa League. Like,
You want to add that consistently did.
and
It's a good
he
first
did
step,
it.
though.
And he did it consistently, and guess what? He won a fucking trophy.
He gave Bologna their second trophy in club history. Or their second
Yeah, I mean
trophy,
that's
50
that's a
51
big
years.
accomplishment.
That is a
for them.
huge accomplishment.
So much so that
That is awesome. Is that
look at
Eddie?
the Bologna
Nope, no,
fans.
it's not Eddie. Never mind.
Look at these. I mean, that's good. I love this.
I
Oh
love
man,
it.
yeah, so good, guys. If you just listen to this, you gotta get the video. That way, this gets better.
Bro, oh, I thought that was a guy with
Oh
only.
my
Wait,
God.
oh no. Oh
You're
no.
fucking ruthless.
I don't want to make any comments on the guy in the wheelchair because I could get canceled for
No,
it.
no, they're
Oh,
just the Bologna
no.
fans are
no.
ruthless.
Keep it for yourself.
Oh
Keep-
no. I guess you could say that Milan was not the only thing that was down.
Oh my
Wow.
lord! Yeah,
That is beautiful.
It's kind of funny.
Absolutely disrespectful, degenerate behavior, but I fuck with it.
Yeah, because we're not
But-
going to get offended when people do that to us.
No,
we're just
we're
going to
not.
laugh and move on.
We're just gonna laugh and move on. If it was to us, I still wouldn't even been mad. I would just been like, you know what? Hey, it takes balls to moon somebody nowadays. Because that guy, if it was in the United States, them cheeks would be on the sexual predator registry like within 5 minutes. So hey,
Yeah. Well,
he
I
risked
mean,
it- he
Diddy's
risked it
doing
all.
it justice right now.
he
When you got
with
I mean,
non-slips.
there's a lot going down in your country right now. You know.
Oh yeah, very clapping, very very clapping.
It's funny though because they have no problem dropping people's pants at the border.
Fair enough. Well, because they're minors.
Jesus.
Too soon? Too soon?
Yeah.
No.
Too soon.
Goddamn.
God damn. I know. A minor. But
Minor.
I rest my case on that. Wow. Wow. Damn it. I need to stop talking. But moving on to actual footy stuff here with Italiano. I'm going to be honest, and German Dave, you have the receipts. I was not his biggest fan originally because for me, the thing that left a stain on me when it came to Italiano was the Conference League final against David Moyes. I think it was West Ham. Yeah, it was West Ham, where Italiano had it won. And if he switched and became a little bit more pragmatic, he would have locked that game effectively. But nope, highline hipster ball this. I gotta satisfy Marco Messina's glaze of me. So I'm going to do something stupid and cost Fiorentina the Conference League. And that's what pissed me off.
No, but
However,
that happens. Like, he's still a young coach.
I know. However,
Yeah.
he evolved. He became pragmatic this season. Very, very pragmatic. Like, for example, the game against Milan was a pragmatic game.
Oh, absolutely.
Took his chances and then right for the knockout blow, went for it and then locked the game down. He's done that. So, like, for example, I've seen that trajectory. And again, for me right now, the top two coaching commodities in Serie A are Italiano and Palladino, based off of body of work, not based off of hype. Those two, when you look at their career trajectories and what they are doing, have accomplished. Italiano has done more in Serie A in 2 seasons than Thiago Motta has done his entire career as a coach in Serie A. And some people might say, but Bologna would. No. Thiago came in with that 2-7-2 bullshit with Genoa back in 2019-2020 season. And then was bounced and then went on to Frosinone. And then he went to Spezia. And then he went to Bologna after Spezia. So Motta's kind of been around the block. Whereas Italiano came up with Spezia, did well with Spezia, extremely well with Spezia, then took over at Fiorentina, and then did well with Fiorentina because, dude, when Italiano took over Fiorentina were a laughing stock. 13, 14 consistently on the table. Consistently hit them at 7. Took them in cup competitions where, in my opinion, they shouldn't have business going far in, but he did. And then he goes into Bologna. Yes, the Champions League had a lot left to be desired. I understand that. I can totally agree with that. However, he is effectively competing in one of the most competitive top 4 races in Serie A. That's a feather in his cap. 2, he, thanks to us kind of fucking up, I'm not going to lie, with Empoli, but again, you do with what's in front of you. Took Bologna and won the Coppa Italia. That's 2. And that alone shits on Motta's legacy at Bologna because, again, Motta's feet with Bologna. Ga, 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 ga. Well, guess what? Italiano did it without Xerxes and without Calafiori. 2 of effectively their best players and has them in a better position this season.
I would almost argue
2 points behind us, by the way. Only 2 points behind us.
Exactly. And then
But this begs the question, though. I've had this because they keep on mentioning it. The commentators mentioned it as well at the Copa. Calafiore, Xerxes, Mota. I don't think they were any worse off. They might have been better off because Calafiore is a femboy. Xerxes is, I mean, he is what he is. Mota's a piece of shit. So I think they just got rid of some dead weight and they got a better core together to do what they do best, and that's just be a fucking mid-table team that's punching well above their weight.
Oh, don't let Marco hear you say that, because Marco's argument for the longest time was Juve didn't give Mota time. Juve didn't give Mota time.
I don't give a fuck what Marco
Yes,
says. I think he's an idiot.
Oh, he is. But let me throw this in his plate. Italiano with the same amount of time with less resources won more. Your argument is shit now.
They were always just made to get clicks, and we know that.
No, I know.
That's why I think it's like he might. I don't know. I never met him. Maybe he's an intelligent guy, but what he puts on the internet is not intelligent. So, is what it is. Fuck it.
It's CBS.
But to go back to the Bologna point, and look, we will never know how big Motta's impact actually was at Bologna, because they continued like working great as a team without him. And the team though is ridiculously deep. Like if you go by the players, and they had like a lot of the depth, they had that last season already. So they had a squad that like that they could use like to all. Yeah, I mean, look, like okay, goalkeeper, I don't know if you can make judgment on that, but Calabria right back, Emil Holm right back, and then the center backs, for example, Casale, Lukumi, Bukema, El Azuzi was a talent that everybody wanted. Like at some point, he's 23 now. Miranda, like he is left back from the Barca school, and Ebischer. Like how many times like did we talk about Ebischer like last season already and this season on how secretly good he is, and he's also like playing great for the Swiss national team. Euler in midfield, Pobega in midfield, Ferguson still doing his thing. But he's back, right? Like, hold
Yeah,
up,
he came back.
Yeah.
No, not 800 minutes.
But I think didn't he go off injured?
I think so.
He might have. I think he got subbed off.
No, but and then I also kind of want to draw too, and again, Ricardo Orsolini, man. Like I honestly, like
sure.
for example,
also my comment on Baptistry live.
I remember that too, and you lost all the Chiesa femboys into a tirade because it was absolutely hysterical what you said. You're like, Orsolini, but my Lord and Savior Federico Chiesa. Like, guess what? Orsolini's already. How many goals has Chiesa scored in the last 2 years?
Well, I mean, he only has 31 minutes this past season.
Apparently,
he's getting a medal dash. What you're saying now, you hate watcher.
Dude, he got it. Guess you know the funny, and it's a short on the last stream that we did. Arnie put him in for 5 minutes. So he got that fifth appearance.
I told you they would play him for just to get the minute.
Yes. And didn't play him the next game at all. Didn't even call him up, which I thought was funny.
Yes.
Yeah, they gave him a handout. And just a quick correction: Emil Holm is the one that came off injured, not Orsolini.
Oh, okay.
But going back to
the depth of this Bologna team like is ridiculous. Like it is an actual,
it's well built,
very very good rounded squad.
And that's just it. It's just well rounded. There's not any one individual superstar on that team. They're all just good blue collar, hardworking dudes. There's a couple guys with a little more technical skill like Orsolini, but for the most, even then,
I think Orsolini is again like he's
nothing crazy.
Consistent. No, he's nothing crazy, but he's consistent.
He's consistent. Right? Like he always plays at the same level. Like he is that continuous 6.5 to 7.
He's what Chiesa should be. He's honestly, in my opinion, it's what he should have been at us.
Look who just joined the chat. as
Oh,
well.
hi, Casey. Well, anyways, because the reason why I say that,
Congratulations on your medal.
it's okay. Arnie Slot still hates him though. But anyways, because I look at like the body of work, right? So out of 58 shots, he had 10 goals, and this is Orsolini. So 43% on target rate. This is the Motta season, 7.39 expected goals. We look at this season in Serie A, 69 shots, 13 goals, 8.68 expected goals. Already well above what he was projected at last season. If I take Coppa Italia, 5 shots, 2 goals, 1 point. Again, overperforming his chances that are created. He's doing a great job when it comes to that.
Look if you how good his numbers are. Okay, like sorry, I have his career here brought up. Like his Bologna career, okay, he has a 17, 18. He has only 8 games played, no goal contributions. But then 20, 18, 19, 37 games, 10 goals, 6 assists. Or I would just tell you the GA, sorry.
Mhm.
1920, 15 GA. 2021, 12 GA. 21, 22, 10 GA. 22, 22, 23, 15 GA. 23, 24, 12 GA. That was last season, sorry, 23, 24, and now 24, 25, 18 GAs. And his season, sorry, according to Fortnite, his season rankings have also like gone up, like 5-9 first ball on their season, then 6-8, 6-8, 7-0, 7-0, 7-0, 7-0, and now is 7-1.
So
Like that is his base level.
that's a great number. And then the other thing too that I want to add on is he had 256 appearances for Bologna, and he scored 71 goals for them. And that's being a winger, a wide player. And then if you do the math on that one, that's about a 28% conversion rate for a winger, mind you, not a poaching striker. Dusan's best conversion rate was 12%. And this guy again, Orsolini, is a winger. That to me, that level of consistency, again, if he maintains it, and I think he's entering the prime of his career, I think again, for the Italian folks, he's Italian, he's consistent, former Juve Youth Academy product. Canadian Dave's Newfoundland internet just timed out, so we lost him for a minute. It is. But the thing is, again, like, for example, yes, Orsolini is a younger Berardi, but we need someone that can produce in a consistent level at Serie A because we don't have a threat that is consistently dangerous in Serie A. Right? Like, I can is there a counter argument? Like, yeah, okay, sure, he's a younger Berardi, but is that like what is the issue with that? Because we don't have anything.
There is no issue with it. It's just sorry to get back to that topic again, but it's again football hipsters, man. Like we are
that.
shitting on names that consistently produce season after season. Oh, now it's my internet.
Damn, what is going on? Everyone's just like
Okay.
timing out. Oh, you're still there.
Well,
Yeah, you can
now it was my internet.
Yeah, just technical difficulties. My computer just shot the bed. It's getting old.
I don't. It's lagging for me right now. So
I think again, because like for example, and Suave brings up the point with Nico, right? Because Nico was doing the same thing too, and again, his numbers took a nosedive. I'm just ultimately convinced that we should just never buy players from Fiorentina ever again.
It doesn't work.
It just doesn't work out.
However, would you take Giuntoli back with recent
No, because
rumors?
I don't think it would work out. Because like what is the added benefit? Because like for example, we can have again our rose tinted glasses towards Fagioli, but gambling issue effectively took him out for a season.
Well, what if Fiorentina doesn't exercise?
That's what I'm saying. It still may that shit is still not over. The gambling
and
stuff.
and there's still an investigation going on, so he might even actually get more onto it.
But there's a rumor that came out that says that Fiorentina, because of recent performances, may not actually exercise the option.
The issue that I have with Fajoli is that I think, like, for example, he's very inconsistent when he plays. There are some games where he's an absolute maestro, and then there's games where it's just like, "Holy hell, dude." Because
Mhm.
even with Fiorentina, with some of the games that I've watched him playing, it's not where it's just like he's been cooking, and then it's again, like, even with us, when he played 23-24 Max, the final season with Max, he had stretches where he was really good, he had stretches he was really bad, and then the season before then, he has stretches where he's good, he's really bad. For me, my biggest issue was with Fajoli was his pace. His pace was atrocious. One of the slowest players on the pitch. So, you're slow, and then it's like, okay, great, you're not physically strong either. Because the difference between Miretti and Fagioli was Miretti could move around. Miretti was able to anticipate spaces, pockets, and move. Fagioli was like, okay, if he got cooked, it's lagging, bro. Like, he's not gonna catch you or he's not gonna offer anything. Where it's like, again, where I think Miretti for me was a way better player, and I'm glad that he was just alone without anything. So it's like I'm
Well, he's
perfect.
coming back for
He
sure, so
is,
that's
right?
good.
So that's great to see that go in there. But for me, again, if I think and the difference and reason why I would pick Orsolini over Ndoye is that I think because of the Italian sentiment and because Orsolini was a Juve Academy player before we shipped him out to Bologna, I think there's a little bit more of a vested interest to try harder for the club. In my opinion, just going off of what I could see.
If he's got
Maybe Ndoye could, fall in love with the club and be like a Danilo in a sense, right? And I mean Danilo as in his affirmation for the club, not skill level before I get all the trolls freaking out at me.
that could be a bit
Um,
of an assumption though, right? Like, do we know Orsolini's still on good terms? Like, did they burn bridges?
Look, the way that I see it, especially if you're Italian, and this isn't me like waving the Italian flag here, but if you're an Italian and you make it to the flagship three, like Inter, Milan, and Juve, that is kind of like the pinnacle of your career unless you are at a ridiculous level of good and you can go to a Real Madrid.
You want
Because like
my honest opinion on it? I think we are completely out of that. It's just Inter right now. Like no, but look
that's fair.
outside of Italy, nobody right now cares about Juventus as a
No,
football
I
club.
I don't
Like
disagree with you because
No,
nobody
really.
is
it's like
talking about.
F1. It's like F1. It's McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari. But no,
Mercedes.
God damn,
well,
bitch.
right,
That was unnecessary.
but no, I know, but I'm saying that as far as like when you're a driver, right? Like those are the three big ones. Like those are
Yep.
the name brands per se.
Mercedes.
And Mercedes, but like when you look at it from a Serie A perspective and you're an Italian player, those are going to be the three. Obviously, right
Mhm.
now, Inter's going to have the higher priority because of the status that they're in right now.
But
It's
by the way,
normal.
Zalewski for 8 fucking million, man.
Yeah.
Dude, these motherfuckers, man.
Can they keep it going? We'll see, because I mean they have to renew that squad to a certain level, right? Hey, Sven's here. You guys enjoying the Hoyson news? We're getting to it. I
Yeah,
actually have it up on my
I
stuff.
enjoyed.
Yeah,
Congratulations to him.
yeah. It's on my screen. It's on
I
deck.
hope
Don't
he
worry.
does. I hope
I
he
hope
does
he
well.
does. Well, I mean, it's La Liga. You don't have to be defensively good. Um, But, like, again, you look at it though, right? Where it's and we'll kinda get on the Hans Nicolucci and all those things once we get to the hoisting because that's 100% on Giuntoli for really bad deals in my opinion, which I'm under the opinion of why he still has a job and shouldn't have a job, but, um, I would look at it and it's just like I look at it from an internal building perspective, right? Where I understand the Italian argument, and then I also look at it where you need to get like the specialty luxury purchases, right? Where the issue is right now with Juve, where and I touched this on Discord about Coop Myers. I was talking with Misak and Primo about this about Coop Myers, and I kind of wanted to bring that sentiment out here. Is Coop Myers did well at Atalanta because he had a proper nine in Scamacca and Lookman, and I forgot to turn that off. Sorry about that.
And
Um,
Skamaka was holding up the ball for him as well because
exactly.
Skamaka was great with his back to the goal and playing off
We
of him.
we don't need luxury purchases right now, right? You
No.
need to find a way to rehab Koopmeyers because Koopmeyers was that luxury purchase. However, because the issue, and this is where I kind of want to throw it at the football hipsters here, because look at Monta. Monta's going to make Dusan an incredible player. Allegri held Dusan back. It's Allegri's fault. It's Allegri's fault. And it's like, for Koop Myers to effectively do the luxury pizzazz that you need him to do is you would need effectively a 9, Lukaku, Skamaka, players that are able to win the ball in the air, pull center backs towards them, 2 center backs, which opens up a pocket of space for Koop Myers to exploit. At Juve, and this is again Mota being a dumbass, is that you had Dusan who couldn't even be a 9, so Koop Myers had to be a 9, a 10, and an 8. Because the thing that people don't understand is Dusan single-handedly fucked Yildiz over, Koop Myers over, and Nico Gonzalez over. Why? Because he forced those players to take on roles outside of their own specialities or multiple roles on once, because he could not do what he was supposed to do. Changed a little bit when Colo came in, but again, it still ended up being a turd because Mota's an idiot and can't re-scheme. Moto's like, oh shit, my scheme doesn't work. I guess it just doesn't work. So this is why I kind of sit there and I say, in my opinion, that I do think, despite my opinion of purchasing Fiorentina players, I do think if you get a proper centerpiece, like for example, if Conte brings in Lukaku, if we get Conte, which is another thing, if Conte gets in a Lukaku, then you can watch this offense flourish. We have not had a genuine striker that can hold up and facilitate the ball outside of Higuain and Mandzukic. Those 2 guys were fucking bulls when it came to hold up play. Mandzukic was not the most elite player, most technically gifted, but dude, if you put a ball in his vicinity, his ass is fighting for that shit. That is what you need from a 9. Especially if your skill players are not physically gifted. Yildiz, not physically gifted. Gonzalez, not physically gifted. Koop Myers, despite playing with broken ribs and other shit, he's not a bull. That's not his play style. Higuain, for all the people could troll and make fun of Higuain was great at hold up and ball facilitation. One of the reasons why Dybala really popped off was under Higuain. Because of the 1-2 combinations that those 2 were able to do in the box, incredible play. And that is like, for example, when you look at Juve with a proper 9, an offensive facilitator, versus Juve now, ever since Ronaldo left and you got Dusan as your main centerpiece, huge drop-off on offensive production. Absolutely atrocious. So that's why, for me, again, if you were able to get Conte, I think Conte's first thing is I need to get a proper 9 and send Dusan to Timbuktu or wherever the fuck he wants to go. And we'll cover the Atletico because I don't believe that one bit, because if he goes, I don't buy it at all, because there's no fucking way he would flourish in Atletico. But
Do they have they have strikers? Why? They have Sørloth that is scoring. They have Alvarez that is scoring. Why
I don't
would
know
they
if it
pay?
was. I think it was
Higuain, so I still think, again, Higuain was a luxury purchase. You had everything else around him built. You spent 90 million to get him. He's a luxury purchase. Again, I think one of the most underrated strikers ever, in my opinion.
If we're gonna have Jeep on the front of our jersey, what is fucking luxury about our team? And then Detroit, what is luxury about Detroit? There is nothing luxury. Go to Detroit and get your fucking footy players. They'll probably fucking fight harder, especially if you go down to the rough parts, pull a couple out of jail. They'll fucking do better than these.
Well, we don't talk about the suburban footy players. The Detroit leagues, the Del Rey League. Fuck, you'll lose a leg if you go down there.
Time's up, man. Yeah,
dude. Oh my lord, ball. Que donde este ball? No. Like, no.
By the way, I'm sorry, but I don't think that Rabiot would have made a difference in this team.
No, I don't think so.
He wasn't a good passer, so he wouldn't have helped with facilitating and ball carrying. Like Thuram is doing essentially the same.
You effectively replaced Rabiot with Thuram.
So here's the news. What the fuck is this source? I don't believe it. It's a crap source. It's just fake.
It doesn't make sense because one, he doesn't work. He's not defensively oriented. He does have little to no hold up play. He to me is not even a Diego Simeone player. Like he's
just
not.
Juve inside with no E.
Juve Insid.
Incel? Juve incel. That's what the source is.
Juve incel. Oh boy. That's funny.
Yeah.
So Antonio's asking, do you guys think Osimhen would be the proper number 9 for us? Not at 85 million.
No,
because he's out of a,
can we please stop in like in those number like above like 50 million? Can you
Yeah, if it
please
was
stop?
even like 60, maybe.
No,
but
I would say
fucking-
he's out of a contract next season. He's not gonna extend.
Yeah.
He's
It's
not
like-
extending with Napoli.
Okay,
He's
let's
not
see.
No,
going
it's
to Napoli.
just leave your hands like he will not go for just 60. If it'd been 60, okay, like he has the quality, but still, I don't want us to sign right now big players. Build a fucking like core that works. Start to build somewhat of a spine that works before going to shopping for the big names again.
So I mean, he's valued
Like
at 70 currently.
It's still like not great squad building, man.
It's not, because you know what you need to do is you need to just get two, maybe hypothetically that we don't keep Colo, but it's
They're working. There's reports that they're working to extend the loan. We'll see.
Yeah, but hypothetically, right? Like when you look at it from that perspective, you need at least two pieces, two physical pieces, two physical strikers at bargain bin value. If the one of them pops off, and they like developmental pieces, right? Where you can't get somebody that's like, for example, I kind of agree with what Tento's down saying, right? You get Santiago Castro, right? He's worth 28 million. He's 20 years old. I think he's 20 years old, right? Yeah, he is 20 years old. And he's something that could potentially, like, again, a Lautaro Martinez kind of potentially could develop into something good. Great. If not, it is what it is. Again, I don't think they're going to let him go, but because you look at it, eight goals, 4 assists in 25 games that he started. It's not bad. At 20 years old, that's not bad at all. I don't think that will get him.
Yeah, but still, like he's too expensive in the
Exactly.
realm of where. Look, if you buy for 35 million, that is no, but you're not buying like
You're not betting it's not a finished
35
strike.
You're not buying a 35 million rotational piece. If you buy for 35 million in Syria, it still means that is your starter. And I don't know, is that for your starting level already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kristovic as well. That's there's another name with Lecce going. Cheap option. I typed that wrong, didn't I? How do you
Luca. I'll pull up.
How do you spell this guy's name?
That's
There it is, Nikola Kristovic. 14 mil. Got 11 goals, 3 assists. How old is he?
185, so not too small.
Yeah, 6'2" or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean he could be decent pickup for like a third striker.
Yeah, I mean, so like for example,
I would take him, for example, as the second striker.
Yes.
Like not even even third string. Like he still has potential. With 25, he's not okay. Potential is the wrong word, but with 25, like he is almost like what he is, right? And if his base is like what was his output?
He has
24 and 6 or 24 games, 6 goals.
11.
No, it's much
Zero,
higher.
yeah, it says 11 goals, 3 assists.
Honestly, I take that.
And then 1 goal in the Copa.
I would absolutely take this as a rotation, and then you need still like the one starting striker.
Like, do you spend the money on David? Does David even come when some of the other names that are looking at him? You'll have to pay him.
Well, it depends. Obviously, it depends on who your coach is, right? Like for example, if you have Conte, you're probably playing a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3, one of the twos. 3-5. You're going to need a 1 and a 2. For me, I think again you're going to need, and this is where I think Inzaghi and Conte have it effectively established, like an offensive rotation. You need a pacey striker and you need a big physical striker. And that's where, like, again, you need someone with the physicality of a Lukaku, and then you need someone with the precision of a Lautaro.
Yep.
Like those two, I think, are and even now with Marcus Thuram, right? Like that is probably your duo of how you want your offense to line up if you're running a 2-forward system. Like that is kind of what you want to build and do, which is again, I think it's going to be difficult. Like for example, I would say Kristovic or Luka, one or the other, not both. If you're looking for something like that, Lorenzo Luka, you can't have both. It's only going to be one or the other. And then I would take again a
I agree.
skilly South American player, and that would be your second. And you would see how that would go, whether or not it would make sense or
Yeah.
not. And then I think you have no choice but to renew the loan for Colo right now, because you need Colo as your one or your transitional one, and then it would be Lorenzo or Kristovic or whoever, right?
Whichever
That
cheap piece.
fills in. Because I know for sure Keane is off the table. No way in hell they'll sell Keane back to you.
No,
without-
No,
We're not
but don't
dealing
you
with
think Tentos down? Don't you think Kristovic will be even cheaper because his value was 16 million, and they're about to get relegated? Don't you think that would be
all
like
for a
in
team.
between?
Yeah, you get like
it
10.
depends. It depends on who's
Like
buying.
in between those 10 to 15. Yeah, but
Yeah, 10 fifth.
did we have like, I don't know what is our past with Lecce? Like
I
in
wouldn't,
negotiations.
and again for the Italian fans here, I just see Luca as impractical because Udinese are going to inflate his price once Juve start looking
You
at him.
say it's not 30 to 30. It's going to be like 40 plus 45. Yeah, I don't think that one's happening either.
Because, like for example, think about it, right? Is Luca worth spending 40 to 45 million on? 24
No.
years old, 11 goals in Serie A. I don't think so.
No.
Like I don't, honestly. Like for me to justify that price tag, Luca would have to do 15 goals, 7 to 8 assists. That's where 40 to 45 makes sense.
And here is the caveat, and this is why I think we should move on to the more realistic news right now, is we don't even know if we're in the Champions League, and that changes fucking everything. And with Bologna securing 5th place, I don't know if that
Europa League slot. I would just say Europa League slot.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't fucking know. And if we don't go to the Champions League, just shut up about Jonathan David or Osimhen or any of these guys. Just don't even bother talking about it.
I don't even understand the link for Osimhen. Just maybe the only thing I can think of is because Giuntoli brought him to Napoli. That's the only thing.
And apparently he says he wants to come to. It's
Dude,
a lot of money.
half the Premier League wants him, man. Like just put it to the side and forget it, man.
Move on.
Let's
just
move
move
on.
on, man. Yeah.
Let's talk about the guy that should move on. Giuntoli. This motherfucker. I'm gonna bring up a couple articles. So everyone knows how we feel about him here. I'm pretty sure at this point. We're not happy with his performance. We think he should be moved on. But according to these reports, so here's one of them from Giovanni Albanese, Dash's boy. Regardless of the rumors, the words of Scanavino yesterday have drawn a clear line at Juve. The sporting project entrusted to Giuntoli will continue on the path shared for some time, foreseeing for the Mercato this summer those 2 to 3 reinforcements necessary to make the squad more competitive. It does go on a bit.
What is the definition of competitive for them?
And that's a good question.
By the way, we need like 5 reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
We need 2 strikers. We need one center back next to Bremer.
I would say 2.
Depending on who the coach will be, we will need 2. Like if we play a 4-man backline, we can get away with buying 1 because then you have Bremer and X, and then you still have Lloyd Kelly, who, by the way, thank you for the obligation, Giuntoli, to that guy. We still have Kalulu, who, in my opinion, is still right back, not the center back. So I don't know why. Yeah.
And I agree with this too.
Who am I forgetting?
Because again, I don't consider Kalulu a center back. He's a natural, a fullback.
Yeah.
So right now you just have Bremer and Gatti, and then Lord Kelly. So that's 3. So I still think you need 2 center backs at least.
Dude,
One
imagine you're going to the Juventus superstore at the stadium to get the new jersey, and who Juventus puts there is Bangula, Lloyd Kelly, and I forgot who the other was. It Cambiaso? I guess
Yeah.
Cambiaso is a nice signature, but goddamn, those are the players you put there for this shirt release.
Not the one you spent 85 and paid 22 million a season.
Yeah, those are too busy with their personal schedules.
Yeah, way too busy.
Yeah, they're busy not training for the next match. And just to affirm, there's a second article here, this time from Guido Baccaggio at Tutto Sport, basically saying the same thing. He's not going anywhere. So those are 2 decent sources. Like Albanese is a pretty good source. I mean, yeah, Tutto Sport, it is what it is, but Guido was, I mean, probably one of the better reporters from that paper. So, you know, he's probably not going to get fired. And honestly, at this point in the game, if he was going to get fired, I think there would be a lot more solid information and just general rumors that was going down. Because all of the screaming has kind of been from us, the fans. The internet has been screaming. There's nothing coming out from the management really affirming our wishes and wills.
They got egg on their face. They did.
But
from the management to the content creators, they had egg on their face for that.
The content creator, nobody gives a fuck about us.
No, yeah, well, us, but I'm saying like
us content creators.
Still, they egged this. To be honest with you, the content creators are partially responsible for this mess.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, for the general, the voice. They're the voice of the internet, and people are sheep for the most part, right? They fall in on whatever the big content creator is, whoever they listen to. They just kind of, you're in an echo chamber, right? They just echo what the other guy says.
Yeah, and then it's funny because it's just like as things we got the video where I said that this team was going to struggle for 4th, but no, new cycle. This is amazing. This is great.
The previous link that I had put up there, with Doosan, for instance, right? Like that's in the news. Everyone's talking about it. Content creators are going on about it. We bring it up. Look at the fucking source, man. It's from an incel.
Well, I mean, it's like we all three of us saw it and we're just kind of like, yeah, that makes no fucking sense.
You've been seen?
Did not see Kimmy. Kimmy was rocking around Bologna. That's cool.
Yeah,
like he's from the north.
And also the track, like Emilia Romagna GP, and it's next to Bologna. So
I mean, that's why I'm wearing the Ferrari stuff, because not that they're gonna win, but it's the home race, so I'm wearing the colors this week.
Fair enough. But again, I'm irritated with it because it's like the whole time this ship was this and this. It was a bunch of fence sitting in the terms of being objective, and none of them were being objective. 90% of their takes were biased. And then it's like now out of we got it wrong. Dude, I knew since preseason this was fucked up.
It's all about the hype train.
And this is where I hope that content creators do express the ability to start doing more due diligence, actually questioning things and sitting there being like, oh, hey, does this make sense? Or, hey, would this even work? And if you're not going to do that, stop saying that you're objective, because you're not.
Well, we all try to be objective, but you also have to be honest with yourself and understand that you do have your bias.
I do.
We all do,
sucks.
right?
Oh, everybody.
Yeah. But that's the problem, is like it's one thing. It's nice to say, oh yeah, I have no biases, or I try to mitigate my biases.
No, everybody has.
Okay,
no, everybody does.
Let's see it though in action, though, right? Because everyone fucking does say that, but who actually does it?
No, yeah. Like I said, every time I've said something, especially when it comes to Doosan, hey, context to people watching or listening to this, I hate him. Same thing with Chiesa. I do not like him. So again, it's coming from that perspective. But like the issue that I have here is, again, we're calling this as we see it, right? Yeah, Dave and I worked for Juve at one point. Cool. It was awesome. Had fun. Don't care about it anymore. But we did that, and then one of the reasons why we didn't want to continue with it was because we saw how structured and how everything was watered down and filtered, and it kept us from really expressing how we wanted to express things. So then that's why we're kind of like, it's better that way. And again, why we left the Turin Giants, because
was it even, hold on, it wasn't even watered down. It was just straight up censored.
yeah, well, it was straight up censored.
Let's not beat around the bush. It was just straight up censored. But yes, I mean, then we left those other,
and then we left them because again, we would say one thing and then someone else would completely skew it. And wait, I thought Dave and Dash were on this thing, and now they're not. And it was again a consistency issue, and that's why we're just kind of like, no, because we want something, and we want a platform where we can sit here and say, yeah, this team blows, or yeah, this director isn't a good director. Are we right? Are we wrong? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because our gig is more so to take things in front of us, react to them, break them down, and then see how it all plays out. Hence why whenever we do videos about players and when they come in, we sit there and say, this is where it might fit in the team, this is where it might not fit. I don't think us three, when we've made a tactical video on a coach, a tactical video on a player, oh, this player's going to pop off and be the most incredible thing since sliced bread, and this is amazing.
We never say that.
No, we've never done that.
Yeah.
We've always, even with Kalulu, and that was a win on our butt, and that was a feather in our cap, because, hey, this is what he's being brought in for. This is the potential upside. This is where this can go, and it's a possibility here. It worked, right? It ended up working to the benefit. With Nico, we said this is where Nico could get utilized. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, and it didn't work that way. But again, we were saying, hey, if he can maintain his Fiorentina production numbers, our offense would be good. He didn't. Coop Myers. And I remember this video.
I was anti Coop Myers. Like, not anti him as a player.
Person, yeah. But him coming in.
For that money. By the way, I'm still maintaining like my opinion. For the 59 million that we paid, I could have done that deal. Like, it's literally going to
there's no deal.
Putting the fucking 60 on the table. Okay, all right, let's take him. Like, did he even negotiate? I don't understand
I don't think he knows
what was going on in that deal, because like we heard 60 million, 60 million, 60 million. Brother, I could have done that. And do you remember we said we will measure him like to how he's dealing in Serie A in Italy. And he got bent over by Atalanta, like for 59. I could have done that, man.
He got bent over by Newcastle.
We got him because we were expecting for him to be ruthless, like in his transfer dealing. And the only thing he has been ruthless in is terminating contracts, sending players away, but not in transfer deals.
This is the equivalent of walking into a car dealership, telling the guy you want that car. He not only makes you pay full sticker price, but upsells you on all the extras that you don't fucking need, and then gives you the 21% interest loan for the next 8 years. That is the kind of deal that Giuntoli does.
And he's like, hey, I got a new car.
And also he's coming in with an attitude, like his attitude.
A hubris.
Do you remember how much we hated it? Like, we said, okay, if he is that ruthless to Allegri, like, just as an example, with her, like, we can all agree it was a setup with how all of that ended up, like blackmailing him the whole time, and then all of a sudden, like, waiting for that one moment where Max like absolutely like loses his shit on the field, and all right, contract termination due to because
Ethics.
of contract detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to that motherfucker.
Yeah, right. And the funny thing about it is, again, and I had this discussion on Discord, and it's again, oh, well, we didn't have Champions League the season before. You think teams haven't leveraged their mortgage for stuff to go for a title push or a run? No, Giuntoli didn't want to do it. It wasn't that they didn't have the money. He didn't want to do it, because that could have been easily some adjustments or some sales or some tweaks or something like that. I still will not buy that Charlie for 5 and Giallo, who we didn't even use, mind you, were great suitable replacements for that time, or great suitable backups for that time.
No, they weren't.
They weren't.
It was just, look at this. What Arsenal are doing, for example, in the last couple of years, they're always there in rumors, right? like rumors of a striker and rumors of a new winger because they're not satisfied 100% with Gabriel Martinelli, for example, on the left side. Like Arsenal as a club is always like sprinkling a bit of rumors here and there to keep the community, the content creators, the fans, to keep them like on their heels and thinking that the club will do something. Well, now they actually have to because they fell way behind Liverpool this season. Now they actually have to do stuff. But in the last years, it has been like the case was they're sprinkling like rumors here and there. And with us, it has been like Giuntoli is sprinkling in players here and there. And ironically, I think those a couple of little players for not a lot of money worked out. Like Kalulu still is a good rotational piece. Cabal, we will see when he gets fit again how good he will be. But I think all of us said like he's a very good fullback. Not great going forward, but still like a very consistent player. And those I think like for the deals where he didn't spend a lot of money were actual good deals. But the bread and butter is still you need to hit on your big transfer target
And your coach.
and your coach. And if you don't do that, you don't have a spine. Your spine has to be working. I always say that you need 1 or 2 great center backs. If it's a 3-man backline, you need 2 great center backs. If it's a 4-man backline, you can get away with 1 good center back, but then you need at least 1 like perfect like going forward and defending fullback, for example. You need a good 6, a good 8, or 2 good 8s, or a 10, or whatever your midfield setup is, and a good striker. Your spine has to work. And for us in the last season, for the last seasons, it never worked. We didn't hit on the coach. We don't have leaders in the team because we sent all our senior
them out.
players away. Like, what does this team have? That is the problem.
But and then here's the thing, right? Where but Moto wanted Giuntoli to send them away and yada. So then that means your sporting director has no backbone. So your sporting director is okay. I'll send out whoever. I'll bring in whoever. I'll do this. I'll do that. Which that again is appalling because as a sporting
No,
director,
the problem is Dash. He was so fixated on the coach. That's why I say he came in with the attitude, right? And his attitude was smelling like shit. Like he was so focused on getting that coach. He was so focused on getting cope miners. Like I think he was actually like blinded by those were the 2 objectives he wanted to hit. When he got Motta, he said, "All right, my next objective is cope miners," and he made that deal as well. And didn't care like anymore about playing style. He like I don't even know if he like what is the tactical background like? What was the philosophy? What is the philosophy of the team? And also, do you remember the communication? Like, oh yeah, our aim is to reach the Champions League and qualify in the top 4 and blah 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 blah. And then you spent all of that money on Douglas Luiz. You spent all of that money on Cope Miners. Like you are contradicting yourself in your transfer dealing. If the
Well,
actual goal is to qualify for the Champions League, if that is just the goal, right? Then
it's exposed now.
you get maybe Coop Myers and that's it, or you get maybe Nico
Yeah.
Gonzalez and that's it.
No, or you get Douglas Luiz, but then you're not getting cope miners.
Exactly, you're one or the other.
And then you keep either Miretti or Fagioli, or you keep both, and you send I don't know Nico Lucy away as a sacrifice to getting those couple of million or whatever. But your transfer dealing has to be in accordance of what you are preaching. And like nothing works. Like the management that doesn't communicate properly. The sporting director didn't sporting direct properly. The coach didn't coach properly. Like we are a laughing stock on every single like
Absolutely.
level at the club.
So
That is a problem.
there's more news coming in day by day to bolster this management, though. Part of the problem is Giuntoli clearly had too much power in this case.
Yeah.
Elkin, obviously, Daddy Elkin there. He's the guy that makes the decisions. He has the money. he's probably trying to save face a little bit. It looks bad if you get rid of Giuntoli, right? So what do? We need to reinforce, give him some names. And I meant to give Chiellini first, but here's Bonucci. Gave the wrong defender. But both Chiellini and now Bonucci are linked with coming into the sporting side of the club. Chiellini already working with the club, but being more involved. I'll give you the actual one I want to give you right now. Sorry about that. Chiellini. Here we go. So it even says here, nobody knows exactly what Elkin is thinking, but what is known is he has the greatest team for the former Juve captain, and he wants to get him in there. And he must know that the DNA is missing and that it has to be injected somewhere. Is this a good move?
It's not gonna.
The problem is I don't think it will have like an impact whatsoever, because I don't think Chiellini has the experience or the standing already. Like, yes, he is a Juventus legend in that sense, but I don't know if his management role is, if he's already that developed.
No.
Well, he's
I
only
don't-
been doing this for a couple of years, right?
It's
He is pretty
not-
fresh.
It's not him by himself, right? Like, for example, the issue is like you can't expect him by himself to do it, because, like, for example, I'm going to reference the Lions because the Lions had one of the best rebuilds of modern times when it comes to the NFL, right?
And the Pistons, by the way, as well. Like, the Detroit teams know how to rebuild, man.
So I'm gonna go more so with the Lions because they effectively tanked like 60 years of negativity with the way that they've rebuilt. When they rebuilt the Lions, they started from everything from vice president all the way to the bottom. They got specialized consultants and advisors to look at potential GMs and potential coaches. Chiellini is not a specialized consultant. I love Chiellini as a guy, a great guy, amazing Juve player, but him alone, and this is where I'm getting a little bit irritated with Guido and all these goobers, is that, oh, well, Chiellini coming into the project is going to inject some Juve grit or DNA. Can we stop with this? Because you don't inject grit, you don't inject Juve DNA. You're supposed to build it. You build grit from what you have.
And you buy characters, like
Yes.
people with a personality, the willingness to actually exert grit. It's one thing to be like that, have it. It's another thing to fucking use it. And you can't just be like, go. You gotta have it in you.
Because, like, for example, you can't have Chiellini as the sole consultant for Giuntoli. You need specialized footy guys. You need actual footy guys. You need your back office with actual footy guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
He likes the guns.
But I look at it and it's just like, if I am Elkin, I'm getting some of the best consultants to consult and figure out how I want to build this back office staff, because his back office staff is a laughing stock, because that's what the Lions did. They brought in Chris Spielman, who, again, he was the lead consultant, but there was other football consultants in the NFL helped him with it too, and they built, again, never in my life would I ever say that I'd see a Detroit NFL team with 15 wins, right? But it happened. And it's, again, they started with 9, and then they went to 12, and then they went to 15. It was a progressive build. We're bringing in Bonucci because of an excellent relationship with Giuntoli. That, to me, is lousy reporting.
And once again, they were seen having dinner.
Again, that's
It
a
must
lousy.
be true.
This is lousy reporting.
Honestly, no. My question is the reporting lousy, or is the club lousy again?
Both.
Like, if there's something to this,
Both.
More than one thing can be true at once.
More than one thing can be
Yeah.
true at this.
and then you're at the situation again where you put people in charge, like in positions they never had. Like, for example, Chiellini, like, the right position for him is, like, he knows the philosophy of Juventus, right? He knows what it means, like, playing for the badge. Like, he is a guy that can oversee, I don't know, like, not have final say in transfers or deals
He can
or whatever,
consult.
but
He can consult.
he
Right?
can consult, he can give his opinion on players, he can He can judge work rate, for example, because all of us are saying like work rate is the most it's the most essential right now because we don't have that. We don't have the hustle on the field. We are, like there's no energy, nothing. Like it's just 11 men like running around with no purpose.
Right.
And that's what he could improve. But I don't know if he's
making
developing
sporting
towards
decisions
sport. Yeah,
makes no
exactly.
sense, right? And again, you've got the background because you work in the sporting director office for a
Yes.
club. So it's like for me, and this is where I get irritated with again. Oh man, get Del Piero as president of the club, he'll save everything. It's like no, it doesn't work
No, it
that way.
doesn't work that way.
If you were to get
In those positions, every single damn employee matters. And you have people in positions they are not qualified for. The whole system doesn't work. You need every single position to work, like to be working hand in hand with the other one from top to bottom. And we don't have that. We gave one person all the power to do everything, and like we fell flat on our faces with that. And now we are trying to implement too much. Give Giuntoli just somebody that oversees his decisions. That, for example, says to him, "Hey, brother, 59 fucking million for Cope miners, that's maybe a bit much."
just have
Like,
people consult, right? Like for example,
yes,
and that's
and
where
that's it.
like, for example, that role is where a Chiellini, a Del Piero, a Barzagli, even a Bonucci, right? Like, I'm even throwing Bonucci on there. If you were to have them as consultants, then that's fine. They're not making final decisions. They're saying, "Hey, here's my thoughts. Here's my opinions on this. This is where my head is at." That's where
I think the problem is because Giuntoli had this much power. You need actually somebody that is over him in the hierarchy. I think
well,
he needs
you
like
can
actually somebody over him, not just
no,
a
yeah,
consultant.
but but here's the thing too, German Dave, is like with some ways that you can organize organizations are where if you can say, hey, the sporting director or the director cannot authorize this move without signature from the consultants. That's a way that they can get checked.
Yeah.
Like in the business sense. Like for example, me, I could be a director on my end, but when it comes to it, like my vice president will say, I'm giving you the authority to do these moves, but you need to win over our executive consultants.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, then they would have to sign off on this. Okay, hey, Coop Myers, we give the agreement for the amount in this, and then we move forward, right? That's generally how you can effectively manage something. But right now, it looks like either something like, for example, and this is pathetic. How many falsifies do we need for our shitty? I'm not. Am I? Where are we protecting Giuntoli? I don't think we are.
No, I think
No.
it's just in general, just
Oh,
why we're looking at Chiellini and Bonucci. And to answer
Oh,
BJ is we don't really
yes.
have the answer specifically the
No,
positions.
we don't know what the hell is going on. That's
no, we
that's
don't. And that's where, again, like, for example, and again, what Suave is saying, like, the execs didn't know what the hell they were doing because Elkin didn't get football people. He got accountants.
Which we needed at the time with all the legal shit going on.
Not even that.
Granted,
You could have just had them as consultants.
well, the whole board just did resign. I
'Cause I've
kind of give a
seen
bit of leeway there in that
I
situation, but
get
they
it, but,
needed
like,
to
I've seen it.
rebuild.
I've seen stuff like this happen in the corporate world. Like, usually they keep their staff intact and they bring in consultants to work their way through it, or they bring in actual football staff or actual, like, for example, me in the business sense, right? I saw an organization go through a full reorg because of
Were they
ethics
being
violations.
sued and fined and fucked by every which way though?
They were being audited because of ethical stuff.
Okay.
And their leadership team effectively had you either get fired or you leave, one of the two. If you get fired, your career is blacklisted. So they left, and then I watched this org bring in actual people that know the business, but and then the honchos up top brought in an impartial third party auditing firm or consultant firm to help them rebuild the organization. Where it's like those guys were rebuilding the org, but we're also working with the consultants to make sure, hey, ethically this makes sense. This is non-partial, blah, 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 blah. Whereas with Juve, and I think what Elkin did was, hey, we're getting fucked by legal things for money. Just give me all the accountants. We'll put them in this position and whatever happens, happens. And for him, instead of restaffing and retooling the executive board of Juve, he said, fuck it, get Giuntoli, put him in charge of everything, and we move on from there. And that's where it happens. Because originally Agnelli had the director of sport and the director of finance, and those two were supposed to work together, which was Arriva Bene and Cherubini, right? So those two are effectively the same role, but one was in the financial sector and the other one was in the player scouting and player acquisition sector. And where now it's like, again, it was just Giuntoli that was doing multiple roles in one. And look, Giuntoli did good with contracts. Like, I'm giving him his flowers for that. We don't have players on bloated contracts besides Dusan. Every contract that we have is actually feasible or easy to move. Barring obviously a total collapse in form like this season. But in general, those contracts, like for example, say what you want about Douglas Luiz, but $5 million net is not bad because he could practically go anywhere for a pay raise. And that's easy to offload him.
He came here for pussy.
He did come for Coochie.
Let's
But like again, same thing with Koopmeyers, right? Like for example, he could easily get moved. Same thing with Gonzalez. Same thing. Any of the yes, he spent 250 and 300 million. Again, stupid. It's my argument. It's stupid. However, I'm not going to sit here and whine and bitch about it without giving a silver lining that goes to it. The silver lining of those moves is that all of those contracts are easy to move. They're very easy to move. The only one that's hard to move is Dusan, right? But like, for example, I hope this happens, but if you need to sell Lloyd Kelly, like I hope it happens, he's not on a bloated salary that every team is like, fuck no, we're not taking him, right? Same thing for Kalulu, same thing for Alberto Costa and those guys. Like, they're not on insane salaries, which again, I can give credit to him for that. However, what I cannot
I don't give him credit at all for that because, like, what are the names of those players? Of course, they're not getting big contracts.
You don't think Luiz could have got more than 5?
Yeah, Luiz could have.
No, but I
the
think
other ones, yeah, he's. It's not like saying, "Oh, good for you, I'm going to pat you on your back." It's a silver lining, Dave. It's a silver lining.
Also,
Dash is trying to be positive for once.
And also, Douglas Luiz didn't have no choice because I will always forget the name of the Aston Villa sporting director.
Oh,
Monchi.
Yes.
Look, he wanted the deal with Juventus because he wanted their assets. So he wanted assets.
Alicia's assets.
Yeah, and honestly, you said it jokingly, but that would have been my next point. She wanted to be in Italy. And she always, in every interview she has, like, she always says, I feel good in Italy. I feel well in Italy. I love it here. I love it. I wanted to go there and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And ironically, they won. And now she wants to stay here. So did he have a choice? Like,
oh, he's a cuck. He just did whatever Alicia said.
Thank you.
And now they're broken up.
And
is that what you were looking for?
Jack Grealish is clapping those cheeks.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, like, it's not like he had like big like he had a big choice to make, right?
No,
like,
but
it's better. Still a good club. He's still earning a shit ton, and Aston Villa didn't want to deal him inside the Premier League. And now, ironically, he might again return to the Premier League. I hope so, at least.
But I mean, again, though, like for example, it wasn't like some of the bloated deals that we were doing before, right? That's kind of what I wanted to illustrate it as.
Yeah,
it wasn't a Ramsey deal.
It wasn't a Ramsey deal. It wasn't a Delict deal. Like, it wasn't one of those, right? So, like, for me, and then I saw Murigan's comment about 200 million didn't create a competitive team. I still hold the blame on Giuntoli for hiring Mota. That to me will always be an absolute catastrophic failure. The other thing too is you sold Huijsen, you didn't effectively replace Huijsen. Had we got maybe Todibo or a decent center back that filled in the role that did an excellent job, I don't think anyone would have cared about what happened to Huijsen after. I think now it stings more because your effective replacement for Huijsen was Lloyd Kelly, right? Where now it just looks like a stupid move overall. But again, if we were to purchase, hell, I don't even think Calafiori is that good, but if you were to get Calafiori and he performed well, then
No,
again
he-
it would
he
be
is good.
easy.
He is good.
Like
Well,
go ahead, Dave.
yeah. No, you mentioned Hoyson. You need to talk to him. We are running out of time because I got my thing tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did want to segue into that just to answer BJ. Yes, he was sold because of the FFP from Villa, but we were focusing more on just the salary, not so much the purchase price in that case. But moving on, because we must, Hoisin sauce. I'm gonna miss saying that name. So yeah, I mean, Real Madrid have activated the clause of $59 million. They're picking them up 10% a sell-on clause. That is what I have seen reported most. Granted, I have one shitty source say 15%.
He's Spanish and he's a center back. That's a
It
boom.
doesn't matter if it's 10 or 15.
We're talking about 6 million or what, like 8.5, something, whatever. It's chump change that we're getting. Yes, we got the initial, I think it says down here, the 13 plus 15.2 plus 3, so 18. So that puts it up to 24. We still got, in hindsight, not the greatest.
No, you didn't effectively replace him. You didn't effectively.
Look. I'm still, and I will forever be on the boat where Huijsen wanted to get out of the club, and we couldn't guarantee him a starting spot because we didn't know at that point yet what he will be.
Mhm.
So we sold him for X amount. I know we could have gotten more, like, or if we had a competent spotting director, we would have gotten a bit more. But in the end, we had to sell him because we couldn't give him the guarantee of starting here. Now, ironically, with all the injuries, Bremer out and blah blah blah, he would have gotten a shit ton of playing time. So that backfired. But look, we sold him to Bournemouth, where he has like zero pressure, where he could develop in a team that has almost like solely young players, where the age structure is similar at Bournemouth, and with literally no expectations, and Bournemouth is overperforming them. Look, we sold him, okay. In my opinion, we still should have kept him, but we sold him. So I understand why you do that. But the problem is, like Dash is also saying, like all the time, not replacing him at that point immediately, because we needed a replacement for him, because we were lacking the bodies, and we already knew Danilo doesn't have a lot of time with the new sporting management. So we knew we needed the players. We didn't get Todibo. We didn't get Hanko. Like, who else were we? We didn't get Pau Torres. Who were all the other names?
Fuck, there were so many that I can't even remember any of them.
There were so many, and we didn't get like anyone. We got Kalulu, who still is a right back, and that was the option. And we got Cabal, who we ironically tried to play as a center back, but is a left back. And we didn't replace him, and that is criminal to me. You sell one of your best assets for not enough, and you're not getting proper replacement. Didn't have anything lined up in the next gen, didn't buy anything from outside. And that is criminal. And then the replacement being the player that got sold because of Huijsen.
Talking about Kelly, which way?
Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah,
Kelly
Kelly,
left.
yeah.
Kelly got sold to Newcastle from Bournemouth because Huijsen came in.
Yeah. It was the whole domino, and it just looks bad. It's a really bad look.
Yeah.
At the time, nobody would have predicted. I mean, who would have predicted it? Right? You can't write that shit.
And then he had the time to develop slowly at Bournemouth. Like I said, like there weren't any big expectations, and he still wasn't always like great defensively. And I don't think like in the next like couple of years at least he will be a great defensive player. But maybe Xabi Alonso will finally teach him. But he is great at moving forward with the ball, at passing his crosses, and all of that stuff. Like, he's great at that.
He's Spanish.
So
He's a center back. He scores goals. He's a Real Madrid. That's what Real Madrid wants. That's kind of
Yeah.
what it is. He has the build
Yeah.
for it.
At the
And-
time he was going to start over him, like there was healthy people.
At that point, we still had healthy people, and no, the problem is Primo. I would have done it because I would make him, if he's not the second starter next to Bremer in the plans, I would have made him my first rotational, like the first player I sub in, right? But then we sent off Rugani and everybody basically. Like we lost all of our depth and still sent him away, and that is bad. Like he would be still like firmly in my my depth chart. Like I would use Huysen a lot, but in the end, like the sporting management didn't grant him the playing time that he wanted. And what I want in that sense, like doesn't matter. Like the management made the decision, you're not getting that all that playing time. And he said, all right, then I'm out.
Yeah, it was a sticky situation. I remember personally, I wasn't upset because for him, like looking at Dean, it's like, yeah, he needed to play. He wasn't getting minutes. So I recognized for his career, he did need to move on. But 15 mil, yeah, the numbers
No,
were
we
never.
we absolutely didn't get enough.
Look, and
that's why I
again,
say, look, it's a damn Premier League club. They are buying 17-year-olds from South America for 50 million. Those Premier League clubs. You can't tell me that you couldn't negotiate more than 15.
my issue
And
is
that's why I say like all the deals where we are selling, or the deals where we buy like big names, like he is bad at all of that. Like nothing worked.
the issue is, and this is where if you sold him and kept Rugani and then replaced Huysen with a more starting caliber back while having Rugani as a backup makes sense. You sold Huysen and then you loaned out Rugani after and still didn't have any.
Sent away Danilo.
Yeah,
But before then,
no,
German Dave,
yeah,
I'm saying
yeah,
before we
yeah.
even get to
Oh,
that
yeah,
part,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying from a marketing and an organizational standpoint, you are going to do either one of the two: loan or sell Rugani, or loan or sell Huysen.
Yeah.
And then whichever one left, you replace with a better. I'm just going to use Calafiori because Calafiori was target number one. I'm just going to use that as the name right now. If you were to do that, it would have been fine because again, Huysen could develop and learn under Calafiori, or Rugani would have been a sturdy backup to Calafiori. But you didn't get any. You didn't get him, and then you didn't get Todibo, and then
that was the other name.
And then, like, for example, Hanko was, I don't know if he was that summer of a target or if it was more in the winter, but you didn't get Calafiori or Todibo.
He didn't get shit.
So then, again, why would you move Rugani and proceed to move Rugani? Because Huysen happened, and then Calafiori and then Todibo got messy, and then you then continued to move Rugani.
Is this ego and hubris? It's like, oh, not my guy. With Mata and Giuntoli, it's like my guy.
And I look at this, and again, I don't know if Mota, and this is where I'm kind of curious because, to be honest with you, I think maybe some of the players had something to do with this, but part of me is kind of sitting here and putting my tinfoil hat and saying a lot of these players were probably with a sour taste in their mouth with what happened with Max.
I would
Because
say.
if you look at all the players that got frozen out, or players that got sent away or sold or whatever, were Max's guys. Danilo was a huge Max guy.
They purged the whole family, essentially.
Rabiot, in my opinion, I think, because for Rabiot, I think Rabiot didn't want to come back here. People can sit there and say, oh, he wanted 12 or 13 million a season. I think he did that so he wouldn't get brought back.
Possibly. Well, he wanted Max.
And he went to Marseille, of all places, right?
Yeah.
And I look at it, and again, like, for example, Gatti having issues with Mota, that was one thing. And then you look at all the other players that Max kicked off and started, they all got shipped away. Like, for example, I'm fine with shipping Berenachea and Illing Jr., right? Like, those can be surplus requirements.
Yeah, you got to move a couple of them.
Like I can understand that movement.
look, and we also we still had enough like midfield pieces to replace Barrenechea, because at that point we still had Fagioli and Miretti, for example. We still had Nicolosi, maybe like before we loaned him with obligation to Venezia. Like we still had those players, so we could get away with selling Barrenechea, for example. And we basically replaced Ealing Jr. with Mbangula, right? So
Yep.
we had those replacements ready. So I understand that we sold those to Aston Villa. And then also I understand why you make that deal for Douglas Luiz, because if you do everything, it's not a very expensive deal.
It's
But
not.
then if you do that deal and still pay 60 for Cope miners,
Then it's
then
stupid.
it's too much.
No, then it is stupid.
Then that is
Because
dumb business.
from when I look at like the midfield from like Max's last season to this, it would have made sense to add Douglas Luiz into that mix. Why? Because you needed a strong center defensive midfielder that could facilitate and rotate the
Yes.
ball, which then would free Rabiot and Locatelli to have more free flowing roles. Having Douglas Luiz would have been better than Coop Myers under that Max team. To the contrary of a lot of people's beliefs, it would have made so much sense to get Douglas Luiz and then to bring in Thuram as an alternative to Rabiot as a substitute to integrate
Yes.
into the squad.
Yep.
And then, like, for example, you would have Miretti as a backup to Locatelli, who could be a little bit more offensive. Like, in my opinion, you only needed to add 2 midfielders. Thuram, because at some point, Rabiot was going to go. And then 2, Douglas Luiz, because I could not for the life of me watch another season of Locatelli as a regista. And having that would be Douglas Luiz and then potentially pivot on and off with Fagioli, and it would have been perfectly fine in
This
my
guy,
opinion.
Dougie Louise. Okay, we have to stop. And I'm sorry, I do have to push this along. We have to stop talking about the past and start looking forward to our future, which is just as ugly.
The barcode?
It is official. The barcode jersey is here, ladies and gentlemen. Always looks better on our one, regardless.
Do you see the G-pad? How corny that was. Yildiz had a key on him and it thought it was an engagement ring. I'm like, good lord.
Oh, I did not see that one.
Yeah, can't eBay marketing be any more corny?
How about this? You let me know, the chat. Let us know if you like it. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that you don't. Is that fair?
Okay, so
Look,
Eddie, what is Serie A
I don't
material?
understand- What I don't understand with jersey, sorry. Like this template again is for Adidas jerseys. It is beautiful, right? Like, have you seen, for example, the new Liverpool one, like completely red with
Yeah. Everyone
where
else's is nice.
like why the hell do we have the ugly one again?
Because nobody cares about us, and we're probably like,
Oh,
let's
damn.
just give them the shitty one. They're too stupid anyways. They won't know the difference. Yeah, we'll just sell it, and we buy it. We buy it every year. That being said, it does get worse.
Oh yeah.
This is the proposed third kit. This we're in water. We're
That's such a
swimming in a
Detr-
pool
that's
of
such a
cum.
Detroit thing.
That's what this is. We're swimming in a pool of cum. That's what I'm calling this jersey.
That's trash.
But it does get better. If I'm buying any, it's this one. This one's actually okay.
That is, yeah. That's it. Yeah, but then again, like he will not play in black. It will be red one game, blue the next game, and whatever. So
Sure, but if I had to buy
The-
one, this is
yeah,
decent.
yeah.
I can do this. Why can't we have something more along this line for the other 10 guys? No, we have to look like Agent 47.
Guys, that's not even the third kit. That's the goalkeeper kit.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the goalkeeper kit. Only one guy gets to wear this because we don't play Perrine or Pinsolio anymore.
They're still around?
Well, Pinsolio's like, yeah, he's in the back yelling at people. Perrine, he got injured.
That was Malta hit him with a crowbar.
Yeah, but I mean, this is it. I don't know how many different versions of this you want to see, but
No.
it's for sale. It is currently for sale.
Yep.
You guys not getting a dime of my money.
Yeah, here it is. This is the official site right here. You can get it. all with that beautiful Visit Detroit. I love how it's a direct translation. They're not sold out. We are worn out. We are worn out of double XL. So if you're a big dude, sorry guys. But yeah, €150 for the official barcode kit.
Yeah, no.
Not for me.
Nope.
And the other stuff, you can't even get the good stuff. Like this is all they're selling. They're not selling the goalkeeper one yet. You can get the socks for €23.
This is the one thing I never understand about football clubs is you release a jersey every fucking year and yet you charge people $150. Like, can people just
It
stop
works.
buying new
No, it
kits every
works.
fucking season?
But
Because they're gonna just keep these
by the way,
prices.
it's not the clubs. It's Adidas and Nike, and it's those making those prices. If you
Like,
go
why are we
to
so dumb to
no,
buy this?
if you go to because we are fans and fans live on nostalgia, and you hope that every of your jerseys will at some point become something, something special, right? Like for example, I bought last season's jersey because I think it was beautiful, right? It's I don't know when the last time was that we had a jersey as beautiful as like current season's jersey.
This third kit this year, honestly,
Yeah,
is beautiful. But
yeah.
It
it's your
disappeared.
third kit.
It left with Mota.
No, but the Adidas, Nike, Puma, all those big brands that are the kit makers for the big clubs have the same exact prices because they know that people will buy it, and if you go to a random like Nike Run Club, if you go, I don't know,
But
because they're
you
rivals,
can
but if you go to Inter, for example, like their jerseys cost as well, like 100 euros, the Nike one, and the authentic version 150.
they're
Like
all
it's same
set.
it's
They're
same
set price.
for it's
But
essentially
what
the same.
I'm more interested in this. You can get a €70 Juventus shower curtain. Look at this beauty.
Ah, goddamn.
Pre-match shirt. You want me to wear that? Who's gonna wear this? Nico Gonzalez was forced to wear it down here.
Hey, people will get that, man. It's 30 euros cheaper than the jersey, so people will see it as an actual alternative, man. And that's how the business works.
So bad.
And
This
then
is
there
so
will
bad.
be like t-shirt alternatives for 50 euro, training shirts for I don't know this and that, and
Oh yeah,
they know how to make like the clubs like these days know how to make money off the pitch.
yeah, and that's the other one. Bones. I was thinking wallpaper. It's something like an old woman would have in their house. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, Dash is on a work call, and I have to move along today as well.
Oh, we're at an hour 30 minutes. All right, everybody.
There we go.
We're doing the music? No, we're not doing the music. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe because German Dave needs some rest because his leg is fucked beyond yonder, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And Canadian Dave needs to get his balls tugged because he needs to get his old simulator out there. And I'm gonna end this all Newfoundly, and he's got to get a good
You're
old
so
brace
bad
there,
at
bud.
this.
I'm very bad. Just don't get
And I'm
don't
under
get
the
over.
influence of painkillers, so forgive me if I
Oh,
rant
beauty.
insulted
German
any-
Dave needs more of them Oxycontins, as they call them, or marijuanas, bud. And make sure you like and subscribe there, and we'll see you on the next one there, buds.
Thanks everyone. Match day. See you there. We'll also have the Grand Prix going at the same time, so it's a double header. We're gonna be like we're docking sports on Saturday, Sunday. When are we doing it?
Again?
Yeah. Like if you wore that last jersey, you'd maybe want to dock in it, that kind of thing.
Stop.